I want to go back to what the idea of this question this guy had a second ago. I'll bring it up again for those who've just tuned in.
Sure.
Omar, I want to learn how to box, but he's worried about brain damage and stuff. And you taught me when we were hanging out together in the Ukraine. You taught me a way of training, which I think we saw. Did we see the other guys there?
Yeah.
The other Ukrainian dudes training the same way, right? Which was like not sparring, but it was kind of mimicking sparring in a safer way. Can you maybe explain that a little bit?
Yeah, a lot of training does not necessarily mean punching to the head, taking head trauma. That's going to develop long-term brain damage. You need to train smart, and it's not the most exciting things. A lot of it is drill-based, but it can actually become fun. You develop games around it. You move and mirror your opponent, speaking footwork alone, and then you start developing into more drills, and eventually you stack gloves on top of it, and you start doing partner drills to each other's gloves. It's not all head trauma. That's a big misconception of developing yourself as a fighter. It's just sparring, sparring, sparring. That's like saying, oh, you're going to learn guitar. Here, go, start playing guitar. It's like, what? I don't even know the notes, the chords, whatever it may be. You need to get those little stepping stones, and then eventually you can start going a little bit more live. So when you do spar, the worst thing that can happen in sparring, let me ask you, I think I've asked you this question before. What is the worst thing that can happen in sparring or any fight?
I guess getting knocked out.
No, see, that's just, okay, I got to go back to the drawing board. Yeah, you got some trauma there. You also went to the expert level at that point, right? You went to test yourself in sparring. But the worst thing that can happen for a human being is losing hope. You're getting attacked and you don't know what to do. You don't know how to stop him from punching you. You don't know how to react when he's punching you. You don't know how to solve that problem. He's throwing a jab. What do I do to solve this problem? And so you lose hope. People kill themselves. They commit suicide because they lose hope in life. That's literally it. It's not, if they had options, they wouldn't have done it. So my thing is, why do you not practice looking at all the problems, knowing the solutions, so when you're out there and you're meeting these problems, you have answers?
That's a real, like, the way you're looking at fighting is really kind of like very systematic, and you're breaking it down piece by piece by piece. And that's what I liked about it, because this drill that we were doing in the Ukraine, where we were sparring, but we're with no gloves on, but we're touching it. We're going for each other's shoulders, like we're just trying to touch the shoulder. It allowed us to like work on spacing, let us to work on footwork. It allowed us to work on like angles, right? So there's like 3 different things we're working on, which are all translatable skills to a real fight without any of the danger of brain trauma. You know, it comes with, say, sparring, like full contact sparring.
Absolutely. Adjusting the shoulder to the face, I remember when we were doing that, I told you it's like a couple inches. You can make that adjustment if you had to, but if you've drilled in the necessary footwork, the range and distance development, the reactions, right, combinations, everything that revolves around that, it's an easy adjustment to make if you ever need it. So we had no equipment. I remember I took my shoes off and we were like, let's train. People overcomplicate fighting. It's a simple system of little basics that have stacked on, and eventually you're moving like a pro. It's little things. You learn the chords, you learn the notes, you can play music. It's the same process.
And it's a lot of that's, I think I've heard fighters kind of talk about this before. It's it's a repetition based like skill.
Correct.
Like, very much about drilling and repeating, because tell me if I'm wrong here, like your natural body, the way your body naturally reacts to a fight is the complete opposite of what you want to be doing.
It's very difficult. I mean, fighting is, you have so many other things going on when you're fighting. Let's take an actual sparring or competition style basis. You have nerves, you have pain, you have fatigue, conditioning that's setting in. You have so many factors that you can't even think about drilling anymore. So you train consciously, so it becomes unconscious. You go through these boring drills, very mundane at times, to get that automatic body response. So when you're fighting somebody, you don't have to think about that. It's just boom, pull it right out of the bag.